So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Nagarathar Chamber of Commerce, sail to prosper.
So அனைவருக்கும் இனிய மாலை வணக்கம். நகரத்தார் சேம்பர் ஆஃப் காமர்ஸ் சார்பாக இன்று நம்மோடு இந்த இணையதளத்தில் இணைந்திருக்கும் திரு கருமுத்து டி கண்ணன், சேர்மன் தியாகராஜர் குரூப் ஆஃப் கம்பெனிஸ் அண்ட் எஜுகேஷன் இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ஸ் அவர்களை வரவேற்பதில் பெரும் மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகிறேன். So I'll introduce him to you. So Karumuttu T Kannan avargal is a president, Thiagarajar College, Madurai. The chairman and correspondent, Thiagarajar College of Engineering, Madurai, and is connected with number of organizations related to industry, education, and charity. He is a Takkar Arulmigu Meenakshi Sundareswarar Tirukkoil, Madurai. So this he holds very close to his heart. We all know that. Member of the Board of Governors of IIM Indore, member of the Board of Governors of National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli. He is a member in the High-Level Advisory Committee to the Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowment Department, Government of Tamil Nadu. He is a recipient of Peruntalaivar Kamarajar Award 2014 by the Government of Tamil Nadu for promotion of education and social service. Was member of the syndicate Anna University, Chennai. Past chairman Textiles Committee, Mumbai. Past chairman CII Southern Region, Chennai. Past chairman of the Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council, Mumbai. Was chairman Board of Trustees Arulmigu Sri Subramania Swami Tirukkoil, Tirupparangundram, Madurai. Was chairman of the Southern India Mills Association during 1990-92. Was member of the Tamil Nadu State Council for Higher Education, was member of the Tamil Nadu State Planning Commission, was member of the Senate of Madurai Kamaraj University, was member of the Academic Council Anna University, was member of the Southern Regional Board of Industrial Development Bank of India, Madras. So on behalf of everyone at Nagarathar Chamber of Commerce, I again extend a very warm welcome to you, Anand. And I also take this opportunity to welcome all the participants. So we have close to 280 registrants for today's meeting. And they have participated from 13 different countries and from 24 different cities. So that shows the popularity and the eagerness to listen to you, Anand. So with these few words, I now hand over the session to you, Anand. Please take over.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ganeshan and friends. It's a pleasure to meet with all of you this evening through this video conference and exchange a few words. More than all that, it's a pleasure to be amongst winners, amongst youngsters. So I think I would like to keep this session more interactive. So I would not take too much of time trying to talk to you. I think I will do both in English and Tamil. So friends, the heading comes out of the present situation is not the most pleasant of all headings, but that's reality. So we can't run away from reality. I think government did very well in recognizing the threat of COVID and shutting down the country, without which this great awareness which has come across India for cleanliness, for personal cleanliness, for taking precautions would never have come. You could have run campaigns, you could have done anything, but would have been impossible to make our people realize that. But that way, I think this big shock treatment was essential. But I think there was very good course of treatment for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Now I think while we are in the 5th and the 6th week, it really seems too much. And I think it has now gone to a state where people are become over-alarmed of the situation. People have become over-cautious. People have become over-pessimistic. Enthusiasms have been dampened. And initiatives have been killed. And a sense of gloom and hopelessness has set in. So it's only good that they start reopening the economy, which I hope they will do in full measure, beginning from tomorrow. And shortly, I think the whole thing should be something which is behind us and for us to really forget about. I would like to start this session by referring to only one slide. I'm not doing too many slides today. I think all of you may have seen this slide. Is it visible?
No, you need to do a slide share. No? You can share your screen.
Share screen, edit. Okay, I didn't do a thing. So Jack Ma's message 2 days back was, for people in business, 2020 is really just a year of staying alive. If you can stay alive, then you've done great things. He says, don't look for plans, don't look for growth, don't look for new investment. If you can stay alive, you have done wonders. So this really captures the essence of everything, the essence of caution. And I think we start with that. In my business career, I have seen a number of years where businesses have dipped and we have gone through a recession or a slowdown. In the year 82-83, in the year 91-92, then in the year 99-2000, and again in 2008-2009. All these years, the crises were of different reasons and different root causes. The one in 91-92 was very bad because I think Chandrasekhar's government collapsed and a new government came. Rajiv Gandhi assassination took place. The country ran out of foreign exchange and they had to transport the gold physically in an Air India plane to raise more money. And they said this is the end of India. Nothing more was there and this is the end of it. There came the Narasimha Rao government and all the reforms happened just after this 1991 crisis. And that really set the pace for a phenomenal economic expansion from then on. 99-2000 was a year when the Asian financial crisis took over. The Asian financial crisis came when banks did not have bankable assets. The Japanese banks collapsed. Most of the Southeast Asian banks also collapsed. And that, they said again, was very bad for Asia and particularly bad for India. And therefore, it was considered to be a very pessimistic period. And in all these crises, people said, there is no tomorrow. I mean, this is the end of the world. Then came 2008, which was a crisis which originated from the US. There was a big recession. There again, India was impacted. But the short lesson which we see from all this is that we have beautifully bounced back from every one of these crises. Actually, every one of these crises brought a reduction in the oil prices. And thereafter, that led to a consumption boom later. So, due to lack of access to files, I could not make a proper slideshow. So this is reality in short. This is what has happened. Anyway, now with COVID is slightly different because it has affected every nook and corner of the world. It has affected every business. It has affected everyone. And therefore, this is likely to be a little different. Anyway, nobody knows what is going to happen in the month of July, what is going to happen in the month of September. But though the broad consensus is by end of September, sort of normalcy would have come in to most businesses, which I think is a consensus estimate, and I think we should probably think that's what will come true, and that is probably the best case scenario. Now, we have to use COVID as an opportunity. What else can you do? You can't sit and cry over it. Now, what opportunity does COVID give? In my own estimation, COVID has given the opportunity of cutting costs. We are in manufacturing. We run textile mills. I have told all our executives at a meeting a few days ago that, look here, we need to achieve a 3 to 5% reduction in fixed costs straight away. Now, how we are going to do it is multiple measures. One of the measures we are going to do is straight away attack the excess labor which we may be having, the inefficiencies, or what the Japanese call as the muda, which is waste elimination. So this is a time when every one of you should look at the business model, challenge that, take a very deep X-ray view of that, and see how we can cut costs. And it's always possible to cut costs. No business is optimally structured. And like a human body, as you go on, you find you accumulate a lot of unwanted things, unwanted habits, unwanted fat. Similarly, in a business, especially during the prosperous years, would have accumulated a lot of unwanted practices, a lot of wastages. And this is the time for us to get rid of this unwanted fat and to become very lean, if not mean, and only look at the top line and then at the bottom line. So this is a great opportunity which COVID has presented. In my call with various associations and discussions with various business leaders in the last 2 weeks, what I have learned is most of the people, most of the associations, I am glad that you are not one of those associations, have been representing to the government saying, please give us a moratorium. Please give us 6 months moratorium, 9 months moratorium, give an interest waiver, so on and so forth. Here, I think entrepreneurs should understand one thing. This crisis has certainly brought to the fore certain liquidity issues. The business has not enough money to restart tomorrow or to pay our bills or whatever. So this is something which the banks can step in and help every business out. This is normal. But what business leaders must know is don't confuse between liquidity issues and solvency issues. I mean, there are certain businesses which are not solvent. There are certain businesses which have become broke. I don't think somebody must confuse between liquidity and solvency. If solvency is an issue, then it is a very serious threat, and you have to look at it more carefully than a liquidity issue. As far as Nagarathars are concerned, I think we are very, very well known for frugality. There will be no wastage in the business, and they will be very careful in what they are doing. So, gentlemen, with this preface, I think I would rather take a couple of questions around business and economics, rather than my keep on talking more.
Yeah. And let me start with something for the youth today. we have a very interesting question. You have immense experience with educational institutions and you have met a lot of youngsters in your life. So in this situation, what will be your suggestion to youngsters who look at entrepreneurship as a career, who are looking to venture into entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship is probably the best solution for a graduating youngster today, because job opportunities are likely to shrink. And the saying goes that the world's largest company is yet to be started. So therefore, you may have that opportunity and that window open for you to start a great company. But at this time, like everything else, the situation is so challenged. The seas are so rough, and it will be quite difficult for somebody to launch a new business without adequate capital. If you have enough capital and you have some capital which you can also lose, then you can venture at this time. Otherwise, I would suggest, even if you have a great business idea, continue to validate that idea, continue to update that idea, continue to run some models. But if you can take a job somewhere and allow this 1 year to pass, you may do better rather than bet your own capital. But that's the very short term. But long term, entrepreneurship is the best option.
Yeah, it's a very positive message, Anand. There is a question from Mr. Chokalingam of Erode. Due to COVID, we are seeing a lot of cancellation of our pipeline export orders. So how do we handle these losses and how do we go forward?
Okay, before I come to that, with your permission, Ganeshan, can I revert back to the entrepreneurship?
Yeah, sure.
Just give you an anecdotal story of only 2 minutes.
Yeah.
See, in this country, in India, there are a number of entrepreneurial success stories. But the best story which that comes to my mind is that of the Tatas. The Jamshed Tata, in the year 1901 or 1902, decided to make steel in India. Everything was being imported from England at that time, and he wanted to make steel. So he wanted to go to England and request the British steel authorities, steel company, to give him the technology to make Tata to steel in India. He sailed all the way to England, which took about 6 weeks at that time. Went and met his business counterparts there and told them, look here, I'm Jamshed Tata from India and I want to start a steel mill in this country. The British laughed at him and they told him, if you make steel, we will eat that for breakfast. They told him, please go back, there's no question of giving you any technology. The young Jamshed Tata was not demolished. The other 6 weeks he took to come back to India. When he sailed back, he continued to imagine and visualize how his Tata Steel will look like and how he will start, where he will start and what he will do. When he came back, he was even more committed to starting Tata Steel. And that is how Tata Steel began. At a time when there was a foreign rule, there were no entrepreneurial streams to support somebody new. Banks were not giving him money, but his determination was the only source of success, and that succeeded. And thereafter, much of the Tata Group came after that. I thought I should share this. Thank you. Now, coming back to the question about the orders getting cancelled, am I right?
Yeah, that's right. Export orders getting cancelled. So how do we handle the situation and how do we bear the losses?
See, this is a business challenge, which I think every business is going to face at this time. Because what they say is there is a force majeure clause. When something happens like this, you have the option to cancel. இப்போ நம்ம கோயில் பத்திரிகையிலே போடுறோம், தெய்வீக காரியங்களாலும் ராஜ்ய காரியங்களாலும் நடைபெறும் தடைகளுக்கு நாங்கள் பொறுப்பில்லைங்கிறோம். அதே மாதிரி தான் இது தெய்வீகம் ராஜ்யத்தில் நடைபெறுகின்ற தடை. Force majeure has come, an unforeseen situation has come, so somebody is cancelling. This is to be expected. I think we should look for the next customer. We should look for the next best opportunity. See, there are going to be some losses. This is inevitable. We are not going to come out clean out of the situation. You are now being pushed into a sewer, and you should be happy to get out of that rather than saying that something has come on me. I'm sure this is going to pass.
Right. And since you touched upon the temple factor, you have been all along acquainted with temples and you hold this very close to your heart. So have you ever felt that this has also helped you to balance your entrepreneurial journey or your family journey?
Absolutely. I think I always consider myself very singularly fortunate that I could be at the helm of affairs of one of the major temples of this country for a very, very long time. And before that in the Karumuttu temple for 2 terms of few years, which I think is a great blessing for me in my life. And that has certainly helped to balance a lot of things which happen to you personally, emotionally, and into your business. But at the moment, as we speak, I'm at a great loss to understand how and why all temples all over the country, all over the world are lying closed and how this has come. So anyway, while we are on this subject, I must tell you that tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, MaduraiMeenakshi.org, MaduraiMeenakshi.org, the website will telecast the Meenakshi Trikalyanam for about half an hour, which will be held in a very small scale. And a lot of TV channels also will be broadcasting that. But anyway, temple administration and temple responsibilities, contribution to temple are not new to Nagarathars. Because what we say is, Nadai Paindra Kalathilaye, Kodai Paindra Kudin Solluvom. So, Nadai Paindra Kalathilaye, in the Kodayum, in the Sivanarulum, Tamil Patrum, in the Samuthla Entertaining Irundadu, Thoradhu Nanigram.
All right, yeah. And this is from Mr. Ramaswamy of Salem. Will Western countries reduce sourcing textiles from China? Will Indian textile manufacturing gain from this scenario?
Yes, see, one of the things that happened in 2008, 2009 was the whole world was gravitating towards China. Their costs were lower, their productivity was very high. Sri Lanka was even cheaper than India. So everybody said Indian textiles are finished, so everybody will go to China now. But now in 10 years, 12 years, between 2009 and now, Chinese costs have gone up a lot, substantially gone up. And India is still competitive. But our real competition is now coming from countries like Bangladesh, Vietnam, Myanmar, and Cambodia, as far as textile garments and clothing are concerned. But China will continue to be a very dominant player because they have the scale, they have the productivity, and it is a command economy. Whatever the government decides it must be done, gets done. So China will continue to be a threat, but they are no longer the cheapest source. We are much lower priced than China is.
This is from a women entrepreneur, Ms. Valli Mail from Pudukkottai. So post-COVID-19, in your experience, can you suggest the top 5 upcoming businesses for women entrepreneurs?
Well, first of all, I think we must congratulate women entrepreneurs. We must welcome them to the fold. But this world of business, unfortunately, will not recognize men and women entrepreneurs separately. There is total gender equality here. Markets will not distinguish between genders. I think post-COVID, the businesses that are going to thrive are items of day-to-day consumption, pharmaceuticals or semi-pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals like vitamins and food items, ready-made food, easy to cook food, nutritional food. All this is going to do well. And I think something like FMCG, a cheap FMCG also will do very well.
This is from Ms. Uma Mayappan of Chennai. We see a lot of unrest in labor post-COVID. So how do we handle this labor issues?
See, always you must consider labor as a partner in your business. So these are very difficult terms, the difficult times. I know a lot of large business houses which have paid 100% salary to the workers. In our own companies, we have paid 50% salary to the workers. And we have explained to them that this is all we can do. But there are other companies which have said that no work, no pay. This is probably a little harsh. So if you are able to explain to the labor that these are hard times and therefore we need their cooperation, I'm sure they are going to give you your cooperation. And I'm very surprised that somebody is having a problem with labor, because the last 10-15 years, Tamil Nadu has had excellent labor relations. Unions which were there in the 90s are all completely absent now. And the labor situation in Tamil Nadu is very, very cordial. So she must really troubleshoot and find why something is going wrong with her company, because the situation all around is very good.
Right. And we know that you play a good role in supporting startups through angel investments and VC funding. So there are a couple of questions on that domain. Do you think funding the new startups post-COVID will be a good business avenue?
The post-COVID, I belong to the class which says conserve cash. Whatever cash you have to conserve. And we started off with what Jack Ma said. You will be lucky to stay alive and stay liquid into 2020 and 2021 because the situation is not very good. So I doubt whether anybody is going to rush with investments in angel or VC funding at the moment. Maybe a few of the American firms will come in. But while on this subject, Ganeshan, I must tell you something. This VC funding, angel investing is not a big panacea, is not a great gift from God for businesses. If you see the kind of documentation which they're asking you to sign, it has got several conditions, some of which will be impossible to comply, and your head will start reeling if you start reading them. Because all of these people are here to make money, and much more money than what the market can give. If they can earn 5% or 6% from the bank, and if they can earn 12% from the stock markets, they expect 25% return from angel investing and VC funding. This is the real secret of it. They come here only to earn that much. But the entrepreneur is so starved of cash that he is immediately wanting to jump for that. So I think angel funding will be difficult to come by in these times. And if at all they have to go for that funding, it's better to go for some Government of India agencies. Government of India has got a window. Please don't take private money. Please don't take monies from any of these merchant bankers who have come here to do this. And before signing anything, you have to, I underline, you have to have this document examined and discussed with a good lawyer. And if you see the conditions, you will automatically, your common sense will tell you that this is not for you. So you have somebody is very careful in taking this step, and government sources are better.
This is from Mr. Nachu Subramaniam of Singapore. The education industry post-COVID, we are seeing a lot of transformation to happen. So is it a good time to go in for educational online tech startups?
You see, as far as primary education, high school education is concerned, I think there will be no alternative to the brick and mortar model for a very long time to come. Because if we start educating somebody at home, it requires a lot of discipline, it requires a lot of commitment, which I'm not sure how many people can do that. So therefore, the school model will continue to function for a long time, but a lot of things in the school will change. Similarly, people going to the boarding schools, I think will drastically fall in the next 2 years. Instead of sending my grandson to a school somewhere in Ooty or in Darjeeling, we do not know what are the conditions of the hostel there. We may decide that let him go to a school in Madurai for what it is, how good or how bad it is. And then we will see. So this high-end boarding schools, high-end colleges which say that we have got all 3-star facilities, 5-star facilities, etc. And they will be challenged because people may not go to hostels. Whereas the schools and colleges around each town are likely to get more patronage this year. So online model, coming to that particular question, will not be a substitute for formal education. If somebody has to get a BE degree, if he has to get a BCom degree, he has to get it from a university. Only then the employers are going to do that. If it's an additional skill course, if you want to acquire a particular skill and if you want to do it in your spare time, that is fine.
Okay. Okay, this question is from Mr. M. Chokalingam. We are seeing a lot of challenges in COVID, but added to that, we are foreseeing an economic war between US and China. So what is your take on that?
See, the US war, trade war between the US and China is politics. That will continue in some form or the other till the November elections are over. And US needs China and China needs US. So they will never break the relationship, they will fight. And they will be posturing. But that may go on till November, till the elections, and after that it may subside. But the real threat is COVID threat. Because supply chains are disrupted, customers' buying powers are disrupted or demolished, and production lines are disrupted. This has never happened, all the three together. There was a crisis in the textile industry, there was a crisis in the automobile industry, there was an oversupply in the IT industry, all at different times. And one country was doing well, another country was doing badly. Here, all countries all over the world, all sectors, both at the supply end and the consuming end are impacted. So this is the biggest challenge which we have to face.
Okay. And then this question is from one of alumni of Thiagarajar College, Mr. Anna Sundaram from Australia.
Okay.
So he has asked this question. I, being an old student of Thiagarajar College, 1975-80 batch, interested to see our college to run short-term hands-on courses in maintenance, lubrication, vibration analysis by linking the industries in and around Madurai. Our batch and other alumni batch have expertise to train the students in many domains. We need your support to link the local business manufacturing with the college as you have done with Honeywell.
Sure, we are now putting our hand out for this kind of collaboration. We have a very state-of-the-art lab on automotives, which has been established by TVS Motors at a cost of about 10 crores. So industry is coming to us, and we will be very happy to do this. So you can straight away, we can be in touch with on the mail, and we can take this forward immediately.
Right. This is from Mr. Uttaman. As a percentage of GDP, is India spending enough to revive the economy?
Well, this is a complex question which economists have been talking and answering. Now, if somebody has no money, you have to put money in their hands. This is very simple economics. Friedman called this as helicopter money back in 70s or 80s, I think. So government has to spend 2% to 5% of the GDP as very liberal grants. Only then it can revive the economy. Now, whether the government can do it is a big question. I think they can easily do between 2 to 3% of the economy, which will be about 4 to 5 lakh crores. More than that, this government cannot do, because the moment they start printing money, inflation will gallop, and there will be a lot of problems with inflation. And potatoes may sell at 70 rupees, 80 rupees, and there will be a very serious, insidious tax on the common man. So 2 to 3% of the economy, which may run to about 4 to 5 lakh rupees, I think is a doable thing, and which I'm sure that the government is going to do. I believe the economic package is going to be revealed next 2-3 days. Let's wait for that.
This question is from Mr. Muthu Solayappan. And TCS moving 75% of their workforce to work from home. How do you foresee this? Because it's a win-win situation for both employee and employer, but it can affect real estate, commercial projects, restaurants in a big way. Moreover, upcountry like tier 2 and tier 3 cities will thrive. So what is your take on this if many IT companies follow this?
See, disruption is something which everybody in business, in any business, has to expect. In every business model is going to be disrupted. That is how it has been going on for the last 10 years. So this is a disruption which has been born out of this. So, and I think it's here to stay, which I think in a way, because it's very good for the environment, because there will be less people moving around. It will be very good for the people because they will be cost efficient. And it's very good for the IT companies because they are going to cut on real estate costs. Okay, somebody is going to pay for it. That is maybe the real estate companies. Anyway, the real estate has been an area which has been overdone, which is already slow for the last 2 years. So that's an area where you would not like to invest or where you'd like to stay away.